I finally got around to reviewing and comparing the Silhouette Cameo and the Cricut Explore software, and I want to tell you what I found out. There's a couple of things we need to look at. We obviously need to look at the software itself. We need to look at some of the bundles you can buy, or the digital bundles you can rent or subscribe to, and then we also need to look at the cost that's involved with it. So there was a couple things we need to break down. I couldn't just compare the software because there is more that goes into it. The best way for me to compare these neck to neck was the ability to import SVG files. And so I am going to compare the Cricut Explore with the Designer Edition Silhouette software. Now, keep in mind, for a basic concept, the Cricut Explore comes with Cricut Design Space, which does not have an initial cost to it. It is a free software program that is to be used with the Cricut Explore. Now, you can import SVG files with the Cricut Explore and the Design Space software. There is no charge for this. The Silhouette Designer Edition that I'm going to be comparing it to, there is a one-time charge to get this upgraded software. And it does come with more features. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. So the free edition, the basic edition that comes with your Silhouette Cameo, you'll see on the screen here, comes with mostly everything, but the big things that it differs is the Designer Edition, which is what I'm going to compare it to. It's going to come with some guides, so some how-tos. It comes with a ruler, which the basic does not. It has the SVG files, so huge. That's why I'm comparing it with the Cricut Explore as it sits. The other thing it comes with is some rhinestone sketch patterns and some other additional features. Normally your Silhouette comes with the free software. The upgraded Designer Edition normal price is $49.99. Right now you can get it on sale for about $24.99 on different websites. Now, the reason I wanted to use the reason I thought it was fair to do the Designer Edition was the fact of SVG files. This was a huge thing when it came to the Cricut Explore, and I only thought it was fair to be able to compare it to the Silhouette Designer Edition. So let me make it clear that I'm going to compare it to the Silhouette Designer Edition, which does have a cost to it. It is a one-time cost. So you will pay $25 to $40 one time, and that gives you the ability to import SVGs, and it comes with some extra features for the Silhouette Cameo. Alright guys, so that is what I'm comparing. So let's go ahead and dive right in. About subscriptions. Both Cricut and Silhouette offer a subscription plan that goes with their machines. Even though they seem like they could be the same idea, they are very different from each other. Let's take a look at both of them. With the Cricut, you have the option of either buying images at 99 cents, or you can buy a monthly or annual subscription. The monthly subscription is $9.99, or the annual is $99.99. What this gives you is 25,000 images pre-selected into your library. It also gives you 200 fonts. What it does not give you is access to any of their licensed or exclusive images. Licensed images would be any of your Disney, Pixar, Close to My Heart, Creative Memories, Anna Griffin, Hello Kitty, Superman, Batman, or any cartridges that were designed by a designer. It also does not give you access to exclusive cartridges. So cartridges that were exclusive maybe to the Cricut Circle. Animal Antics was one of them that they just released to the Cricut Circle. Those will not be part of the subscription. So it does kind of knock out half of their library. The other thing it does not give you the ability is it does not give you the right to own this image. With this subscription, you're paying $9.99 a month. You're ultimately renting these images. If you were to cancel the subscription, all of these images would be turned off and you no longer have access to them. This is a very, very different concept than the Silhouette subscription, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Now, the great thing about Cricut subscription is you can cancel at any time. So you can go month to month, which is great. So I can use it one month, then the next month I can turn it off. So if I do need access to a certain cartridge, so if I'm doing a birthday party and I want access to the birthday bash cartridge, I can rent that, and I can rent for $9.99 and I'll get all these images, and then when I'm done using that, I can turn off my subscription at the end of the month. Once again though, when you turn off that subscription, all those images go away. You do not own those images unless you buy that image, which you can do for the 99 cents. That would be purchasing a single image for 99 cents. Now, you can cancel at any time. Just remember that if you cancel halfway through your month or annual, you'll still end up paying for the rest of that month, or in this case, an annual subscription, that $90.99, you would end up still paying for that all the way through. So the things I really like about the Cricut subscription is, number one, it does give you access to a lot of Cricut cartridges that are either A, no longer around, or B, are hard to find. So Paper Pups, I mean, there's a lot in there that I didn't think I was going to have access to that I do now. One thing I don't like is the fact that you don't have access to the licensed, you don't have access to the exclusive. But the biggest thing I don't like about their subscription service is you never actually get to own the images. You're essentially just renting the images. Another positive on this, it is only $9.99 a month, which is relatively very low for a subscription. However, it's very different from the Silhouette subscription. The Silhouette subscription is also, you can get in a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month. Within each of these categories, there's a basic, deluxe, premium, diamond, or you can make your own custom subscription. The subscription through Silhouette is very different in the fact that when you buy a subscription, you're given so much credits. So for example, I have the diamond subscription. I actually paid $20 for my subscription because when I bought my subscription, there was a coupon going, which is another great feature of the Silhouette subscription. They consistently have coupons. So at the time, there was a 30% off coupon for subscription plans. So it brought my $29.99 a month down to $20.99 a month. So with my $20.99 a month, I get $250 to spend every month in the Silhouette online store. If I was to spend all of the money in 1 month, I then get 50% off all designs after that. And then the great thing is if I don't spend all my $250 a month, there's a 60-day credit rollover. Now, the main difference between the Silhouette subscription and the Cricut subscription is the fact of you own the images and I can buy whatever I want. So there's no exclusive cartridges. There's no exclusive or licensed. I can use my subscription to buy the Harry Potter designs through Silhouette, the Looney Tunes licensed images. Because I'm actually buying the image with my credits, there is no restrictions on what I can use my credits on. So if I was to go down to the basic plan, which is the same cost as the Cricut plan, it's $9.99 a month. I get $25 to spend in the Silhouette online store. Most images in the Silhouette online store are 99 cents per image. So this gives me 25 essentially images I can buy. Or the deluxe, which is $5 more, gives me $50 to spend. So The big difference between the two is whether you want the flexibility of owning those images or just renting the images. Same thing on Silhouette as with the Cricut. If you are to cancel through your commitment, you do have to finish out your commitment. So my commitment, as you can see up here, I'm locked in on my diamond through April 27th, 2014. If I just wanted to cancel my subscription, I'm going to end up paying a cancellation fee to get out of that. Now, I can change my subscription plan. If I wanted to go to a higher plan, I could do that, and my 1 year would start over again. However, there is a cancellation fee if I go to a year subscription and then I want to back out of it. However, they do offer a 3-month fee for you. So I could do a 3-month basic for $11.49 a month if I just want to try it out. So I hope that gives you a good idea of what the biggest difference is between subscriptions. In my opinion, the Silhouette subscription is a much, much better deal than the Cricut subscription. Now, keep in mind, I have over 200 Cricut cartridges, so I don't have access to a lot, I have access to a lot of Cricut images already. So if I was someone that didn't have as many cartridges and I wanted to access a lot of Cricut designs, the subscription might be a great deal for someone who does not have a lot of cartridges. For someone like me who has over 200 cartridges already, subscription plan through them just does not make sense. Alright, so that sums up for subscriptions. Let's take a look at the next one. Let's dive right into the comparison. So I took a look at the new Cricut Design Space and the Silhouette Designer Edition software. I think it's really important to mention right off the bat before we do anything, the biggest difference in this software is the ability to use the software offline or online. Cricut Design Space, which has to be used with the Cricut Explorer, has to be used online. You have to be connected to the internet to use this software-based program. Silhouette Designer Edition software, even though you do have to be online to download your images from your subscription service or to download your updates or the initial software, you do not have to be online to design and cut. So this is a huge difference right off the bat for me is, do I want a software program that I have to be online every time I use it? For some people, it's not a big issue. For other people, that go to crops or people's houses that don't have Wi-Fi can be an issue. Okay, now that I've said that, let's take a look at Cricut Design Space. Cricut's done a wonderful job designing a program for someone who wants to design a project, cut it out, and the program does everything else for you. And you can see that here in their Make It Now projects. So for example, if I wanted to do this beach time layout, I would just go to the layout. It would tell me everything I need. It would tell me if I already have the images. I would hit Make It Now. It brings everything onto my Design Space layout here. It shows me everything on there. It sizes it all. And then get this. It literally puts everything on my mats. It separates out all my colors and puts everything on my mats. It did all of the work for me. So in less than 30 seconds, I designed a 12 by 12 scrapbooking page. And now all I have to do is lay my paper on, hit go, and the machine cuts it. This is a major, major advantage to Design Space. It is by far my favorite thing of Design Space is the Make It Now feature. The fact that they have all of these projects that you can quickly make on your Explorer is huge. Now when we actually look at the software program for designing, here is the software program. So The great things that Cricut did do right is they gave you the ability to import SVGs. So now you can actually come here and upload an image. I can go to vector upload, hit browse, and then I can go look through all my different images here. So I can go through here and look for an image, and let's say I want to upload my Alice in Wonderland image here. I can then just say Alice in Wonderland, put my keywords, which are very, very important later on, and then just hit save image. Now, obviously it's great that we can upload SVG finally. Cricut has not given us this ability in a long time, so the fact that we can do that now is a huge, huge positive for Design Space. However, here comes my negative with this. The organization of our images, in my opinion, is not good. Cricut has made the executive decision to do all of our, per se, organization for us. So up here you have all images, my image sets, my images, or my image sets. Those are your only options. You can't create your own folders. You can't organize your images how you want to. You can't go through and customize this to what you want. For me, I have so many images, it would be nice for me to have, for example, a folder that says, Disney images, or a folder that says my favorite dog images, or summer vacation. Now, they do have a filter over here that I can go through and say, show me all of your nature images, and then filter it down. However, I like to organize my images. I like to know where they are, and I like to make my own files and folders, and for me, that's a huge disadvantage. The other thing I don't like is once you've uploaded SVG, at this time, I have not found a way to delete the SVG or modify it. I haven't been able to go back into an SVG and modify the tag words, the keywords, to delete that image or to make any modifications. So once it's there, I haven't found a way to get rid of it. So what if you don't like an image and you want to get rid of it? So right here, I have an image that didn't upload right. It says it did, but it didn't. But I can't get rid of it. There's no way for me to delete that image. I don't like that. I wish we had a little bit more control over that. Another thing they did right is, for example, if I go to insert images and I do go to my image set, this will bring up my cartridges. So this is cool. In past, I have over 200 cartridges. So in the past, if I wanted an image, I either had to go on the Cricut website and search that way, go to the website My Cut search that way, or get out all my books and go page by page. This is a cool way that I can actually go through. I can say, oh, there's my Toy Story cartridge, and then look at the images completely built. It's not going to bring it down to layers. It's actually going to bring them built. So for example, there's Mr. Potato Head, and I can actually say, I like Mr. Potato Head, and insert him. This is huge. This is a very, very good advantage over previous software they had, because now I'm able to see my images and see it right in the software program. Now, once I have my image on my mat, one of the other things I like about Design Space is the fact that I can go in and size him. So let's say I want to make him 6 inches. And then what I love about Design Space, by far my favorite thing about Design Space, is the fact that the program does everything else for me. It breaks down all my pieces, it puts it on the mat, it does everything to where all I have to do is load my paper onto the mat, hit go, and it cuts it for me. This is definitely a big advantage with Design Space, and one of the things I love most about Design Space that you will not get on the Silhouette software is the ability that the software does that for you. It's a huge time saver. So I love that. The other thing that they have that I've never seen before is the set canvas. So for example, if I'm making a baby clothes and I want to design a onesie, but I don't know how big I need to put it, I can actually bring the onesie up here on my canvas, And then that way I know how big or little to make Mr. Potato Head. And they have a whole bunch of different canvases you can choose from. It's not going to cut the canvas. You're not going to cut this onesie, but it just gives you a frame of reference. Now, along the top here, you're going to see your edit capabilities. This is where I start having problems with Design Space. They don't have a lot of edit capabilities. I don't have a lot of options when it comes to what I can do within the software. I can cut, I can copy, I can select all, I can move things to the front, move things to the back, I can resize things, mirror things, rotate things, and I can sync my colors right now, so I can, sync my colors to where everything's on the same mat. So I can make this brown say he's white instead of being brown, so everything's on the same mat. But other than that, I don't have a lot of edit capabilities. And to me, this is the reason why I am not a huge fan of Design Space at this time. Now, in the future, I've heard rumors that, well, they're not rumors. I've went to Cricut.com, and in the chat rooms, we've been told that they are going to bring a lot more edit features to the program. But at this time, or at launch, they didn't have all of those features in Design Space. And they understand they do want to add a lot more features, and they want it to be competitive with other designer software on the market, for example, Silhouette. However, they don't have the capabilities yet. We're hearing that they are going to have print and cut coming. We're hearing that the iPad with the Make It Now features is coming. All of this stuff is coming, it's just not on the Design Space now. And unfortunately, I'm comparing it to what it is now out of the box with the machine that it came with. And for me, there's just not a lot with Design Space. There's not a lot of edit capabilities. And in my opinion, it just was a huge disappointment to me. Now, if I'm someone who wants the simplicity, I want to put my image on the mat, I want to hit go, and I want it to be done, this software is perfect. If I'm someone that has 200 cartridges and everything's linked to my craft room, this software is perfect to me. Now, with that said, you have to link your cartridges to use them, or you have to have your cartridges in the machine to use them with Design Space. And I know a lot of other people want to use the cartridges right out of the machine. You can't do that. You have to use Design Space. You can't create just on the Explorer. You have to use Design Space. So that's another thing that I know a lot of people don't really like. My biggest complaint, and I'll be honest with you, and I'm hoping they fix it, is I don't get to show you a lot with Design Space because there's really not that much to show you. Yes, I can add text. They finally let us import our own text, so I can, do some great things with text that we haven't been able to do in the past. So I can now go into here. I can easily change my text, so I can go to these different texts. I can change how big my text is. I can, center it, put it off to the right, put it off to the left, look at my different layers. I can change my letter spacing very easily, which we haven't been in the past. Rotate it, position it. I can import text, which we've never been able to in the past. So huge advancements for Cricut, but compared to other softwares, it's just not up to par yet, in my opinion. And it kind of saddens me because I was really excited for this new software because I thought it was going to be a little better. Now, is it better than Cricut Craft Room? Absolutely. If all you're doing is comparing Cricut Design Space to Cricut Craft Room, as some people are doing, your mind is going to be blown beyond belief because it is amazing compared to Cricut Craft Room. Without a doubt, in my opinion, this blows Cricut Craft Room out of the water. However, let's go look at Silhouette software now, and you can just see all the different edit capabilities you have with that software that you just don't have with the Cricut. All right, let's go take a look at that. Time to look at the Silhouette Studio Designer software. So this is my second time recording this, and the reason why is the first time I recorded this, I went way too in depth with all the features, and it ended up being 25 minutes, which is entirely too long. So please know that I'm only showing you certain features of this software because there is so many different features to this software that if I go into all of them in depth, it will just be too long of a video. Ultimately, that sums up what is the main difference between this software and the Design Space software. The Silhouette Studio software just has 10 times more the features on what you can do to your images. There's no limits to what you can do to your project. And I think that's the big difference between the Silhouette Studio software and the Cricut Design Space. For example, in my folders here, when I import an SVG, I can do whatever I want. I can put it in files, I can create my own files, I can create as many files as I want, as little files as I want. I'm not basically told, hey, this is how we're going to do it, and the only way you can find it is by keywords. I like the fact that I can create files, and I know exactly where my images are at. So, with that said, let's take a look at some of the other features here. Some of the features that you won't find in Cricut Design Space is they have a knife feature here. The knife feature is great to where you can actually cut images and separate them into, one or two different items. I use this a lot when I am going to be getting something off the internet and I need to cut part of the image off. They don't have that on the Design Space. There's an eraser function. They have a text function. The text function is a lot like your Design Space function. I'm able to go in there. Ken's Kreations, there you go. The difference is because Silhouette has a print and cut feature, I'm able to add color to it and print it. I'm able to cut it. I'm able to sketch it. I'm just given more options on what I can do. Just like Cricut Design Space, I'm able to import my own fonts. The only difference is there is the option of bold, italic, and underline here. But other than that, font is pretty much the same. All of these features here are very exclusive to the Silhouette Design Space. So, I cut her in half. I forgot about that. So, unlike if I wanted to do a square in Cricut, I would have to go search for a square, or I would have to go search for a circle. The nice thing here is they give you the ability to draw. So I'm able to just draw freehand. I'm able to draw a square. I'm able to do a circle, which doesn't sound like a lot, but to me, there's times that I'll just draw a square for a card, put it at the size I want, add my square lines, and I'm done. Once again, it just gives you more freedom on what you can do. There's more options. There's tons of options in the Silhouette Studio software. Obviously, you can print and cut, so that's a feature that you don't have in the Design Space right now, is the ability to print and cut and add registration lines. Cricut says they are adding that to the second quarter of the year, but as of right now, that's a huge advantage of the Silhouette Studio software. Because you can print and cut, you are able to add colors to things. So for example, I have this box, and I am able to add colors because I have print and cut. I can change colors of Alice's dress over here. So if I necessarily didn't like the color of dress Alice has, I don't want it to be blue, I can change it to orange if I want to. The other thing they have is gradient coloring, where I can actually change and have different colors like this, and I can actually change the option, the angle the color goes, and I can change how transparent it is. One of the cool features on the color is they have an eyedropper, so I can actually match a color. So if I want this to match her color of her hair, I can do that. This is a great feature when I'm trying to get images from the internet and I want to match a certain color in that image. Because you can print and cut, you have the ability of doing patterns. Within those patterns, you can obviously scale your pattern down, you can bring it up. One of my favorite features is I can actually come down to Alice here and turn her into a sketch, which is always fun. And then they have sketch pens that you would just put into your machine and sketch her out. You can do the same thing, except for instead of sketching, you can do rhinestones. So I can go to Alice here and change her into rhinestones. So this way I can put a rhinestone pattern on my shirt and then put rhinestones on it. That's another feature that is great with the Silhouette Studio software. I'm able to change the color of lines. Not only can I change the color of lines, but I can change how thick the line will print. I can change it from a continuous line to a dotted line, or what I use this mostly for is scoring. So now I can actually cut this and it will give me a nice score line. So obviously if I am doing a card, I can easily add a score line. All right. Cut option, obviously very easy. You can easily add cuts to your patterns. So this guy right now, as you can see, he didn't come with any kind of cuts. So I can actually go ahead and say I want to cut his edge. I want to cut out all his individual pieces. So very easy to quickly add cut lines to items. They have a move function here, which like right now I can move things, which is not anything great, but once again, just gives you the flexibility and customization that you just don't have in Design Space. You have the ability to rotate things. So if I wanted to group this guy again and rotate him, you have a scale so you can change how big he is. So a line is a feature that I don't think is in Design Space that I absolutely love. So if I'm going to do a print and cut and I want to make sure he lines. So let's say I have this bunny and I'm going to write a sentiment. So I have my time is running out and I want to align these to make sure they print center. I can put a box around each of these, go to my align, hit align center, and it's going to align these things to where they're center to each other. You can center to what your box is. I can align everything left, center, right, align top, middle, bottom. I can space horizontally, space vertically. I can even center to the page of the mat. So for me, align is huge, especially when I am doing projects where there's multiple fonts or multiple texts. There's also a replicate window, so obviously this is where you would go to replicate stuff. I can duplicate left, duplicate right. I can mirror right, mirror left, so that way if I'm doing key transfer. All right, one of the biggest, there's modify weld, which is, you pretty much have a lot of these features in the Design Space. One of the features Design Space does not have that I wish it did is a offset option. Design Space says that you can create a shadow by taking an image, basically replicating that image, and then increasing the size of that image, and basically you would have a shadow of that image. In Silhouette Studio, all you have to do is select your image, hit offset, hit apply, and it created a shadow. As easy as that. there's my shadow. Boom. Took me less than 2 seconds. So for me, this is a huge advantage that Design Space just does not have yet. I can even create an internal offset. So if I'm trying to create a frame, I have my box. I can say internal offset, hit apply, and now I've created a frame by that internal offset. Granted, you can probably do the same thing in Design Space by just doing a square inside of a square, but once again, it's just Silhouette Studios designed to give the person more options, more flexibility, and more control of the design with more features. There's also a trace feature, so I'm able to go in and trace items. And this will give me the ability to put a trace. So that wasn't there before, and now it is. And I basically put a trace around that, so now I can cut around it. I could draw a line around it if I wanted to. Trace feature, there's a lot you can do with the trace feature. If you watch my other videos, you can see all I've done with the trace feature. This is a huge advantage with the Silhouette Studio software. My two favorite features in the software are the offset feature and the trace feature. These are features that are not in the Design Space at this time, which are almost deal breakers for me. Because Design or Silhouette Studio software is a print and cut feature, you can change the size of your paper, which is a huge advantage to me. I cut on 8.5 by 11 paper. So for me, I can actually cut or basically set it up to 8.5 and 11. So that way when I'm cutting all my individual pieces, I know exactly where my paper is going to hit on the mat. Cricut automatically sets you to a 12 by 12 paper, and then you have to move all your images to fit to what you think it would be. Nice thing is they have an easily accessible cut settings here, so that way if you want to make your own cut or change the speed thickness, it's easy to do it within the program. You can do the same thing in Cricut Design Space, it's just a little weird how you have to get there. And then you also have a little bit more customization. You can add grids to your page. You can snap to a grid, so if you're moving stuff, instead of it being free-flowing, it snaps to the actual grid so it lines up. You can add a ruler. You can add crosshairs so you know exactly where you're at, so that way it lines up with the ruler over here. You know where your crosshair is. So I know that was a quick look at all the features in Design Edition Silhouette Studio. And the big thing I guess I'm just trying to hit home with you is the Silhouette Studio software just is leaps and bounds ahead when it comes to the capabilities to edit your image and what you can do with your image. They don't put any restrictions on you. They don't put you into a box. They give you all the tools, all of the things that you would need to do what you want with your image. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our final comparison. In conclusion, guys, there's a lot to consider when you're looking at buying your machine, and the biggest thing is the software it comes with. It's hard for me to recommend which one to go with because I'm not sure where your crafting skills are, your computer skills are, and what you're looking for in a software and a cutting machine. For me, the Silhouette Studio software is just leaps and bounds above the Cricut software right now at this time. Design Space has the potential to be something great, they're just not there yet. I do love certain features. I love the Make It Now projects. I love the fact that it separates everything onto the mats for me and does half the work for me. However, the Silhouette Studio just gives me so much more freedom and has so many more features and capabilities that the Design Space should just have with it. They should just have some of those features. They should have the ability to create a shadow a lot easier. They should have the ability to trace images. They should just have a lot of these abilities right ready for us in the program and not have to find workarounds to complete our desired effects that we're trying to complete within the software. So at this time, I would have to say that the Silhouette Studio is a much better software program than the Cricut Design Space. That doesn't mean I don't think Design Space is a great program. For someone who wants a program that's easy to use, is basic, and basically they put their image on the mat and the software does everything else for them, Cricut Design Space is amazing. And for someone who has a lot of Cricut cartridges, like I do, I definitely will still use Design Space for my Cricut-based products. I will definitely use it whenever I'm using my Cricut products because I have to, but also because it is quick and easy for my Cricut. However, right now, because of the features and capabilities of the Silhouette Studio software, I'm more apt to use that software over Design Space. I'm not sure what everyone else thinks. I'm open to any comments below. I really hope that Cricut does make the needed adjustments to Design Space because I really do think they're onto something here. I think the Cricut Explorer machine is by far the best machine they've ever created, and the cutting capabilities are much better than I expected. So I'm really hoping now they have time to spend and put into the Design Space, and I'm really hoping that they listen to their customers and what they want, because I really feel a lot of people are looking for more from that software and want more capabilities to design the things they want to design and not be put into a box and not be restricted on what they can do. So there's my comparison for you. So hopefully it gave you guys an idea of the difference between the software. Very different softwares, very different subscription benefits. And if you saw my first video, the machines themselves, different cutting effects. So thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you're following my blog at www.creativeken.blogspot.com. Make sure you're checking out all my videos over at YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to make sure you're checking out all the videos that I have upcoming comparing other Silhouette and Cricut Explorer features. Alright, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think of the different software differences. Alright, thanks guys.